What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm once again joined by Degenerate Jay. And Jay, we're going to do something that we did the first time we ever got together, but haven't done since, actually. We're going to do a Gotham Knights video. So for those that are new or for those that are checking out this video now, well, firstly, Merry Late Christmas. This comes out the day after Christmas. But I've been doing a series on the channel talking about games, properties, games that exist, games that don't exist, and talking about their state in 2021. So I thought, okay, well, having Jay here, this makes perfect sense. Let's talk about pretty much anything we want to on Gotham Knights in 2021, so we can go over our release date predictions. I know, I assume, Jay, you probably get asked all the time. I know I get asked about the release dates. I've given them before, but people just keep asking. But we'll go over that. We'll go over maybe what's next in terms of the marketing, and talk about I would say a huge year that's coming up for Gotham Knights and for the community. Okay, so before we get too far into that, let me first say, if you guys aren't subscribed to Jay, all his stuff is going to be in the description, as well as a pinned comment. His main channel, his second channel, he does a phenomenal job. You don't need me to tell you that. Obviously, if you guys have watched his Gotham Knight stuff or any of the other stuff, because we both do other stuff, he does an amazing job. So Jay, thank you so much for being on this video.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I look forward to talking about Gotham Knights when there's actually something to talk about for once.
It's tough, and it's I get the people are getting, I would say, not like annoyed, but people want new things, right? And here we are, we're at the very end of 2020, welcoming in 2021. So I mean, let's just go through this. So Jay, we can talk maybe bigger picture first. What do you think going into 2021 when this game comes out, or even like leading into it? Do you expect like this to be an amazing, like, big year for the fans? Because I mean, we've all been waiting. It's no secret, right? We've been waiting for this for a very long time, and I guess the announcement of Gotham Knights did kind of scare some people off, which, everybody has the right to their own opinion if they didn't like basically what they saw, right, with it not being a Batman game or not being an Arkham Center game or whatever. But I truly think, I mean, we haven't had one of these celebratory, and that's, assuming, I guess, the game's going to be good, but like celebratory moments since Arkham Knight, and then even that didn't last very long because of, how people perceived it. So what do you think 2021 kind of brings with it?
Well, I would assume that this game is going to come out probably endish of the year of 2021, or otherwise the first quarter of 2022. I don't really think it makes sense. I mean, this, not to get into the cyberpunk train, but this isn't cyberpunk. This isn't something you hype up 8 years before release. I don't think it has that kind of steam behind it. So I think it is something that they want to get out within a few years of making it known to the public. Plus, the game, at least in sections, is already playable. We know that from what we saw. It's not just the Roxy Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League CGI trailer, where it's impressive, but anyone can throw together a CGI trailer. It costs money, but it doesn't indicate anything with the game, right? Because there's no gameplay. It's just a CGI trailer. Just like how you see something like Halo 2 for the Master Chief Collection, Blur did all of the CGI on their own, and the studio actually doing the recreation of the game didn't do that stuff. Those things can be farmed out. So I think that with this, since we saw actual definitive gameplay, we're going to be getting more information throughout this year, this next year. I really do believe that a lot of the release schedule in terms of hyping it up has been hampered by the virus. I don't think it's a good reason for why it has, but I still do really believe that we would have seen this at more shows and more before we saw it, for the first time a while ago. I think it was supposed to be hyped up more. I think that's why they were releasing those symbols and just completely dropped it. And with things starting to finally improve going into 2021 in terms of the current supposed situation with vaccines and stuff like that, I don't see why we wouldn't be seeing more.
Right. No, absolutely. I think, this was a messed up year, and it is kind of funny thinking back to what they did, with the redacted and all that stuff in January. And then, like you said, literally dropping it off a cliff and pretending like it never happened, and just doing the, not like treasure hunt, but doing the detective case for a week, which was pretty interesting. I had some kind of negative feelings towards it when we were like in the very beginning of it. But then once it got going, it's like, you know what? It's bringing the community together. Everybody's in a way having fun, and we're all kind of learning as we're going. And it was a really cool event. So, I'm not saying like I want more of that in 2021, but whether or not the game release, I do think this game is going to release in 2021. The way I look at it is, and because people are kind of all over the place. I asked on Twitter a few days ago when people think if it's coming out before or after June, and I would say, and I just kind of picked the midpoint of the year, and people are very split. Some people even said, 2022, like you, Jay, as a possibility. And I don't think that's wrong either, because like Cyberpunk should have taught anybody, and like any game that's gone through with Cyberpunk or like close to Cyberpunk, you got to give these games room to breathe. While what Jay said, this isn't Cyberpunk. You don't want to release an unfinished game, right? This already is a game that's a little polarizing, where it doesn't have the backing of literally everybody. Not everybody is sold on it, and I don't really think anybody should. Coming from Warner Bros. Montreal, I really don't think anybody should be sold immediately on this game. I've always said that it's kind of like a prove-it situation, but that's what 2021 is to me. That's why I do think it is going to be so exciting, because I see this train moving, and this will be, I guess, whether or not the game even comes out this year or in 2021, it'll be a prove-it year, because I'm sure we'll get more gameplay. We'll see Nightwing, Red Hood. I'm sure we'll get some sort of more trailers. We'll see gameplay presentations, whether it be at an E3 or if they do another DC Fandom, or if the game comes out first half of the year, like I've even said as a possibility, this could be a very fast and furious next 3 to 5 months, right? A lot can happen all in a very, very short amount of time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what actually does happen, because I'm just waiting to actually see more information. I definitely like talking about Gotham Knights, and I do find it interesting. And when you first were like, hey, maybe we should talk about Gotham Knights, I was kind of like, what are we going to talk about? Because we've been waiting so long to see stuff. This is the kind of thing that's interesting to me for a video, because we don't really have solid information, like the entire community. And I think this is kind of a first in terms of the DC games that I can think of in recent history, where we didn't have a more solid date going into it, knowing what was going to happen. That's really why I do think it's because of what's been happening in the world. I do think as well, it's like they're trying to trickle out little bits of information. We've seen those character breakdowns and stuff. Even those aren't the most detailed, but they've at least been something to talk about. But I don't know, I'm sure you've noticed this too, even those have actually dramatically slowed down, and right. I don't really understand why. That's a pretty easy thing to release information on, right, just through Twitter.
I'm a big fan of fan art, if you didn't know, Jay, and it's gotten me into trouble in the past, so I'm just going to leave that I'll leave that part alone. But yeah, no, they've the way they've handled the Twitter, I've always said, like people even from Warner, I'm sure they've done it to you. I know they've done it to Slick Mob and stuff. Like they'll like our tweets and they're around. Some of them follow each of us and all that stuff. And I wish all of them the absolute best. I think they are doing their job. It's they are going to do that. We're going to critique them and hopefully play and love their game. But just in a bluntly honest way. The way they handle social media, I don't think could be worse. Really, even with this last little while, it is, I would say, much better. But it's much better compared to like themselves. So they're only they're only doing it in respect to themselves. There's not much you can say for it. The gear's cool, but it's not much. It's enough to talk about for a day or to talk about for a video. But in reality, even like you said, not just has the amount of time in between them gone up, but also I feel like there was a little bit more detail with like Batgirl, and then even like with Robin, they've slowed down the amount of like info even in those graphic cards over the last for Nightwing and Red Hood. Now maybe that's because we haven't seen them in gameplay and they don't want to spoil certain things. But you have that, you have the fan art. It's clear. I don't think they're like buying time, but kind of in a way like that. It's time for more things. And I think you're right. For Warner Bros. Montreal, but for Warner Bros. In general, they announce the game. It releases 3 to 6 months later, right? That's fair. That's what they've always done for all of these games. And so to not have that, yeah, we're in a situation where we can speculate, but it can only go so far because we have a little bit to go based off of, so you can't speculate literally anything because you have a basis. And where if you didn't, then you literally could just talk about whatever you wanted, right? So we have that, but we also don't have enough in that to talk about forever. And I'm not even just talking about like us YouTubers. I'm talking about just people in general, right? Like we can keep watching the same trailer and gameplay trailer forever, but eventually you're going to need more stuff. So I think it's about time they eventually give us more. I think very early into I honestly do. I expect, I'm not saying like last year's any comparable. The redacted stuff I think started around like January 14th, 15th, somewhere in mid-January. Could they do something in January 4? I think they're done with what they've handled so far on social media with the gear and with the fan art. They're finished. So next up has to be, I would say, like either, it's got to be something else, depending on what they want to do with that something else. But if the game comes out June or before, I would imagine we would get gameplay for these two relatively quickly. So anything else you want to say, Jay, in regards to Gotham Knights in 2021?
It's something that I think the community should keep an active interest in, but it's something that I think even with you and me, we like check it. We're interested and we want to see what's happening, but I don't really wake up anymore expecting today's the day I'm going to get new news. I'm just kind of like, hey, when it happens, it happens. And I know that's a little bit laissez-faire, but I don't really think that there has been a solid plan the whole way through with promoting this game. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, because if there was, I don't have any idea what that plan was. But I do think that things have been affected, like I said, by what's going on. I think that we will start to get more information. I hope it will be a little more in-depth while saving a lot of surprise for the game too. I really do think that what they need to do going into 2021 is show more of the game. That's really what I think, and not images. I mean some gameplay. I think we need to see some gameplay of the characters we haven't seen yet. I think we should get a 5-ish minute gameplay segment at least of every character in this game beyond just Batgirl and the couple snippets we saw of Robin. I think that that's needed to make people interested in this game, because yes, people are interested, but like you said, a lot of people were put off by the direction of the game, and that is their right, and you have to bring those people back in then. And the way to do that is not by sharing a couple of images on Twitter, whether it's fan art or official art. It's just not how you hype people up that you lost. That's just how you keep people a little bit strung along that are already interested. So I think they really need to focus on bringing back people that were just in Batman for Batman, and sort of proving what comics fans have known for years, which is that the Batman mantle and the Batman brand is more than one person. There is this whole extended Bat family, and a lot of those, I would say all of them are interesting, but a lot of them are extremely interesting in their own way. And I think that it now lies on WB to actually show that to people through gameplay, through trailers, through whatever, and bring them back.
Absolutely. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of room for failure, which I'm sure we will see that trickled throughout the year. But there's also, honestly, a lot of room for success. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, as always, guys, let us know in the comments below. What do you think? When do you think the game will release? What do you think comes next for? What do you think they're going to show us? Let us know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. As always, again, make sure you guys are following all of Jay's stuff. Again, all of it will be in the description and the pinned comment. I'm sure you guys know us, maybe specifically because of this video, primarily for Gotham Knights. We do a lot more than Gotham Knights in general, but of course Gotham Knights is a big part of the channels as well. Jay, thank you so much for being here.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's always interesting to be on your videos and talk with you, and I am also looking forward to 2021. I am cautiously optimistic.
That's a good phrase. That's a good phrase. Merry late Christmas to all you guys. More Batman Arkham as well as Gotham Knights videos coming on this channel, and I hope to see you guys there.